Hello, my name is Garrett, and in this video I will be hopefully helping you understand utilitarianism by breaking it down in simple steps. So, utilitarianism is it's a moral theory that basically says that or it's the idea that the right choice is the one that helps the most amount of people and creates the most amount of happiness for either a group of people or just for a group of people. If it creates the most amount of happiness, that is the right choice. This idea comes from philosophers like what's his name? Let me see. Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill. They're kind of the ones that expanded on the theory and kind of, I guess, coined the theory. But all that boils down to basically is if you have to choose between different actions or decisions to take, you should always pick the one that creates the most amount of happiness and benefits the most amount of people and leads to the least amount of suffering. It's kind of like a pros versus cons type of list, and you just pick the one that has the most amount of pros and the least amount of cons. And there is actually a step-by-step method. It's a 7-step method that kind of helps you figure out what decision has the most amount of cons and what decision has the most amount of pros. So it's 7 steps, and I'll be breaking down each of them as simple as I can. So number 1, the first thing you want to look at is the intensity or like how strong a certain feeling is. Like if a group of people they think a certain way, or they're trying to create like a movement. Like you want to figure out how strong those feelings are within those people. Do they feel really strongly about it, or do they just kind of go in with the motions? 2 would be, I guess, duration, or how long are those feelings going to last? Is it just going to be like a quick moment of happiness, like it's I guess like playing a game? It leads to a little bit of happiness and a little bit of stimulation, but it doesn't last for an extended period of time. It doesn't really last for that long, maybe like a few hours if you're really into it, but then you get bored and you quit playing and you do something else. So you're going to look for what lasts the longest, I guess. And 3, the third step, is certainty. You're going to want to make sure what you're trying to, or the decision you're trying to make is gonna happen, obviously. For instance, if you have, say, an option that leads to more happiness overall, but it only has a 10% chance of actually working, versus an option that has a little bit less overall happiness, but it has, say, an 80% to 90% chance of working, you have to factor that in, and because it might be more beneficial to have a more guaranteed success rate, because if the 10% fails and it's not going to lead to much happiness. And 4th in this little checklist is how fast is this going to lead to happiness. Something happening right now might mean more than something happening in the future. For instance, like city planning. If a city plans to have a housing block, like a housing district, and it's a 15-year plan, but they're really nice houses and they'll lead to a lot of happiness, but those people need houses now, you might want to stick with a more, degraded isn't the word I want to use, but I guess a less version of those houses and the overall city planning in a 5-year plan. because if those people need those houses now, it might be more beneficial to have them up faster than to have more luxurious houses and more amenities in a 15, 20-year plan. Fifth in this checklist will be, will this decision lead to more good things happening in the future, like a cascading effect? For example, in that previous example, those houses might lead to more people getting jobs because more people are going to be living in that city, town, etc., and that'll lead to more businesses being opened up, more spending, the overall GDP, if that's the right word, will in that area will go up because there are more people living there, making money, spending money. The sixth step is the purity, or like the cleanliness of an action. If it's like clean happiness, will it come the unclean happiness will be like, will it come with problems in the future? Like if you have less quality homes, those homes might have, if they're rushed in, say, like the 5-year plan, they might have issues that come up later, serious issues such as plumbing, electrical, other issues like the foundation's cracked. That'll lead to problems, and people are going to be unhappy because they have to spend money to get those issues fixed. And seventh, and by far the most important thing you need to factor in, is how many people are going to be affected by this decision. Because utilitarianism cares about everyone and not just a select group of people or yourself. So if one option leads to more people being affected, that is obviously going to be the correct choice, just simply using utilitarianism. Now, if we apply this to like say a dystopian fiction future, fiction future, such as like the Hunger Games, you can imagine yourself being selected to be put in the games, and you're trying to survive, and you have two options. You can either, one, team up with someone and try to go through the games through the entirety with your teammate, eliminate the other teams, and try to both win, or you can betray them once you've gotten to the end, and you can win by yourself. If you team up, you have a better chance of survival. Obviously, you have someone watching your back, someone to help you gather resources. There's less suffering if you're going solo. But if you betray them, you increase your chances of winning, but the other person obviously is going to be eliminated, and it only really benefits you. So simply using utilitarianism, it'd be better to team up because it helps a greater amount of people, you and your teammate, and creates more overall good. However, if betraying them is the only way for anyone to survive, because if you try to team up in the end and they just eliminate you for breaking the rules, that leads to no happiness. Everyone gets eliminated. Then the decision gets a little bit harder because it's kind of difficult to predict what's going to happen, because utilitarianism depends a lot on prediction, and sometimes it's hard to predict outcomes, which isn't always easy. So pretty much utilitarianism is a moral theory that tries to help the most amount of people based on prediction and predicting outcomes. And it can be kind of hard with stressful situations, but it is a pretty good theory to use if you just want to focus on helping the most amount of people in any given scenario. So yeah, hopefully you understand utilitarianism a little bit more, and maybe you could try applying it in your own life.